It's officially Pride Month, which means it is time for another round of the Queer Lit Readathon. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a trans guy who reads a lot of queer books. Since it's Pride, I will be making so much content. So if you are looking for queer book recommendations and you're new here, hit subscribe. The Queer Lit Readathon is a readathon hosted by my friend Kathy twice a year, focused on reading queer books. There's a round in June for the whole month, and another round in December for a week. In my description, you can find links to Kathy's announcement video and any relevant information about the readathon. This is one of my favorite readathons. I participate every year. Since it's officially June, round 17 is happening this month. It's officially underway. You can mood read or use the bingo card. That's what I'll be doing, and if you're the same, this video is for you. I'm going to be recommending a book for each space on the bingo card. There's 16 spaces and I have a bunch of recommendations. This time around, Kathy pulled a prompt from all 16 rounds of the Queer Lit Readathon. I've been doing this type of video for the last couple of years, so I will link my playlist down below if you want more recommendations. The first prompt is Ace Spec. To read a book with ace rep, anywhere on the asexual spectrum. I'm going to be recommending Someone to Daydream About by Sydney Langford. I recently read this year. It is a new release. I loved it. If you liked the decom Starstruck, it's inspired by that. We follow Natalie, a deaf girl who works at her late father's deaf center teaching ASL. One of her clients is the little sister of pop star Felix Song. The family asks her if she'll go on tour and tutor Felix in ASL. Natalie does not want to do this. She does not like Felix, and she wants no part of the spotlight fame and can't stand to be in the same room as Felix. When they offer her a large sum of money that can help her family and the deaf center, she has to say yes. She reluctantly says yes and enjoys herself on tour with the band. This talks about how exploitative the music industry is to boy bands and young musicians. It also has demisexual rep and pansexual rep. Natalie is demisexual and Felix is pansexual. There's also a lot of disability rep. Natalie is deaf and Felix has dyscalculia and dyslexia. If you want a murder mystery with some fantasy, I always recommend Alliteration by Darcy Littlebadger. This is a YA paranormal book. We follow Ellie, who can raise the ghosts of dead animals. Throughout the book, she is trying to figure out who murdered her cousin and is trying to get to the bottom of the case. This has fantastical elements. It is beautifully written. I love this so much. I actually read it for a round of the Queer Lit Readathon and it became one of my favorite books. My hopeful for this prompt is Being Ace, an anthology of queer, trans, femme, and disabled stories of asexual love and connection, edited by Madeline Dyer, with stories from Roanna Silver, Rosie Thor, Akemi Dawn Bowman, and Lindsay Miller. Next is See Yourself. This is just a book where you see yourself represented. I don't have something specific for this because I will be recommending an array of things in this video, but if you're looking for something specific, drop a comment and either myself or somebody in the comments can help you out. I am going to be reading Ship Happens by Mason Deaver. It's one of my most anticipated releases. It's a T for T romance following two exes who are stuck on a cruise. I'm so excited to read this. Next is Rainbow Cover. This can be a book with the rainbow on the cover or a book with a pride flag on the cover. Just those colors. I actually have a video coming up this month that will be able to help you for this prompt, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I have 3 books to share. Glitch Girl by Rainy Oat has the trans flag on the cover. It's a middle grade written in verse following a trans girl navigating her ADHD diagnosis through her favorite game. It's similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon. This also works for the alliteration space. Winnie Nash Is Not Your Sunshine by Nicole Melleby is a great summer read. It's middle grade about Winnie Nash, who goes to live with her grandmother for the summer, and she's heard bad things about her grandmother, but she makes the summer work. She ends up meeting some girls that she befriends and has a crush on, but it's really her exploring her sexuality and coming to terms with it. She feels like it's a burden that she can't tell anybody about. She soon realizes that's not the case. And of course, this has has the rainbow flag in her sunglasses, and there is a scene where she goes to New York Pride. A book I always recommend for this is Friday I'm in Love by Cameron Garrett. There's the rainbow. It is about Mahalia Harris, who is throwing herself a coming out party. I love this so much. It talks about financial insecurity. She has a job. She works at a grocery store. I always love when YA talks about teens having jobs. And it just talks about classism, and there's some abandonment issues with her father. She's such a great character. I loved her. And she loves old music, 70s and 80s music. Think Fleetwood Mac. I really love this and highly recommend it for this prompt. I'm also going to use Being Ace for this since the ace flag is on the cover. Next is the choose your own prompt, where you just choose what you want that space to be. I am going to be using it for travel/road trip because I'll be reading World Running Down by Al Hess. I'll be reading this for my book club this month. I host a themed book club every month. We don't read a specific book. There are just themes, and you read a book based on the theme, and we discuss it in Discord. This month's prompt is travel, so that's why I will be reading this and using it for this prompt. You can be really creative with this prompt. Here are some examples. Disability rep, a specific color on the cover, new to you author, or an author you've read before. There are so many recommendations in this video that you're bound to find one for this prompt. Next is Femme over 40. I need to read more queer books with older characters. The ones that I've been reading lately is like early to mid 30s, but I don't know many books with queer elders. So a book that I always recommend for this prompt is Bingo Love by T. Franklin. It is a second chance romance. It's a graphic novel between queer elders. It's sapphic. I really love it. I did some research for this prompt, and I'm hoping to read A Tale of Two Florists by Brenna Bailey. A light-hearted, sapphic rivals to lovers small-town romance featuring two quirky florists. Perfect for fans of playful stories and enchanting small towns. The new florist in town wants to live her best life. The hometown florist's life is just fine as it is, thank you very much. When the petals stop flying, will these rival florists be left with broken hearts or a budding romance? It sounds really cute, so I hope that I'll be able to get to it. Next is retelling. And for some reason, I just read a bunch of Pride and Prejudice retellings, but I've never actually read Pride and Prejudice. First, I have to recommend Most Ardently by Gabe Cole-Novoa. This is a trans masc retelling of Pride and Prejudice following Oliver Bennett. He is closeted, but I love how much joy is in this book. It doesn't have much transphobia. It's such a fun and lighthearted read. Another Pride and Prejudice retelling is Just As You Are by Cameron Kellogg. This is set in New York, and the characters work at a queer magazine. And last, I'll recommend Mismatched, a modern graphic retelling of Emma by Anne Camplin and Isadora Zeffirino. This is a graphic novel, and it's a retelling of Emma. The main character is gay. I really enjoyed this. It's YA. It's very lighthearted. I find graphic novels are really good for readathons. My hopeful for this is Self-Made Boys by Anna Marie McLemore. I have been recommended this so many times. I know if you've recommended it to me, you are probably celebrating because I'll finally read this. I hope that I can read this for a specific video that I'm filming, but I am going to be filming a Queer Lit Readathon vlog, so if I don't get to it for this specific vlog that I'm filming, I will try and fit it into the Queer Lit Readathon vlog. Next is shorter than a novel. This could be a novella, poetry collection, etc. I love short works, so here are some of my recommendations of poetry collections and novellas. First is Grief Slut by Evelyn Berry. This is a poetry collection by a trans woman. It talks about masculinity, transness. I love some of the poems about grief, and there's a specific one about having a childhood best friend that really resonated with me. I'll also recommend one of my favorite poetry collections that I believe I also read for the Queer Lit Readathon. This is There Are Trans People Here by H. Melt. If you're a trans person, this is required reading. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's so liberating. If you're looking for more short books to read, I'll link my video up above where I recommended a bunch of my favorite favorite short queer books. Two novellas I'll recommend here are Finna by Nino Cipri. This is a sci-fi novella about two co-workers who work at like an IKEA type of place and they get sucked into a portal. These two co-workers just broke up and have not talked to each other since. So the best way for them to talk things out is while being stuck in a portal. Oh my god, it's so good. I also really love Read Between the Lines by B. Medina. This is a friends to lovers YA romance between two autistic lesbians. One uses an AAC device to communicate. Next is one of my favorite prompts, queer sports. I need to do a full video recommending all my favorite queer sports books. I'll probably do it sometime this summer. Here are some of my recommendations. I'll rapid fire these. Icebreaker by Al Graciade is one of my favorite books of all time. It's a YA Achillean Rivals to Lovers book about two hockey players who want to be the first overall pick for different reasons. This is the best Rivals to Lovers book I've ever read. The Prospects by Katie Hoffman is a baseball romance between Gene, the first trans man to play in professional baseball, and his rival, Luis. Also recommend You Don't Have a Shot by Raquel Marie. This is a YA Rivals to Lovers sapphic sports romance. You could also use this for the Spec prompt because our main character is asexual and pan-romantic. If you're looking for more baseball romance, I'll recommend Jennifer Dugan's YA Playing for Keeps. This is a sapphic enemies to lovers baseball romance between an umpire and a pitcher. My hopeful is Cleat Cute by Meryl Wilsner. I read Mistakes Were Made and I loved it so much that I need to read more from them, so I'm really hoping to get to this. It also works for alliteration. Next is one of my favorite prompts, messy queer. I love to read about messy queers. I talk about it all the time on this channel. First is a recent read, Bed and Breakup by Susie Dumond. This is following two exes 7 years after they separated, who go back to the bed and breakfast that broke them up. If you want a book with small town vibes, artsy queers, and just two women who met each other at the wrong time, I thought this was really solid. It does have sexual content. Another recent read is Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. This is an age gap romance between Erin, a woman whose daughter is a freshman in college, who meets another woman at a bar at said college during family week. They hook up, have a one-night stand, and it happens to be her daughter's best friend. This is between a senior in college and a woman in her 30s. If you're looking for a fun book that is slightly scandalous, I loved this so much. I recently read it for an episode of TBR Tackle. I'll link that video down below if you're curious. I'll also recommend Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee. This is a YA with a messy trans boy, Noah, who runs a Tumblr blog about T for T romances, but all of the stories are fake. When an anonymous person starts a rumor that the blog is fake, Noah tries to save face. This is so messy. It does have a T for T romance, and I adored it. And last, I'll recommend Thirsty by Jazz Hammonds. This is a very dark book, but it is excellent. This talks about mental health, alcoholism, and identity. We follow Blake, a biracial girl who is really struggling, but she doesn't know that she is. She doesn't think she has any problems. She and her friend Ella are set on joining the Serena Society, a secret society for Black girls and women. The women in Ella's family have all been in this society, so they're determined to join no matter what it takes. This is a heavy book. There's hazing, there's suicidal ideations, lots of alcohol, underage drinking, and alcoholism, minor instances and instances of racism. This is a phenomenal book. If you have the headspace for it, I highly recommend it. Next is Beyond LGBT. This is to read a book that is beyond those letters, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans. So just read anything that doesn't have that and you'll be golden for this prompt. I'll be using Being Ace for this, but you could use Someone to Daydream About because we have pansexual rep, and You Don't Have a Shot because we have pan-romantic rep. Next is Folklore. I interpret this as books about mythology or even fairy tale retellings. I'm gonna recommend the graphic novel Magic Fish by Trung Le Wen. This is such a beautiful graphic novel. Heartbreaking, but beautiful. It is following a Vietnamese boy who is trying to come out to his parents, but they don't speak English, so he communicates with them through fairy tales. One of my favorite graphic novels, so stunning, but like I said, very heartbreaking as well. You could also read Peter Darling by S.A. Chant. This is a trans Peter Pan retelling. It's a romance between Peter Pan and Captain Hook. If you're looking for a spicy romance with mythology, I'll recommend Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. This is a black romance. It's super diverse. We have Persephone, who is a trans woman. There's pansexual rep. Lots of queerness in this book. I'm not sure where I'm going to land on this prompt, but I do have a middle grade on my shelves. This is The Song of Us by Kate Fosner. And I know I'm gonna butcher what the retelling is, but let me see really quick. It is a retelling of Orpheus and Eurydice. I know I really screwed that up. But it is a middle grade. I believe it's written in verse, it is. And I've had it on my TBR for a while, and I am really curious about it. The next prompt is escape. This is a fun one because you can interpret it anyway. Maybe the character escapes or you're reading it for escapism. I'm going to recommend two books by Edward Underhill. First is The In-Between Bookstore. This is his adult fiction. It has a time loop, and it is about a 30-year-old trans man, Darcy, who goes back to his small town to escape, and he learns a lot of things that he missed while he was there. And when he goes to the bookstore that he worked at in high school, his high school self is there. This basically talks about what you would do if you got a chance to talk to your younger self. I'm also going to recommend his newest release, The House of Now and Then. I loved this so much. It is also following a trans man in his 30s who goes to Cape Cod for the summer to escape his reality because he just broke up with his boyfriend of 7 years. And when he goes to this cottage, people from his past are there, and he has to basically figure out why they're there. It's a magical cottage. I'm obsessed with this. I highly recommend it. If you're watching this video, chances are you like queer books. That means you're in the right place. If you're new here, I'm Alex. I'm a trans guy who reads a lot of queer books. Every week on this channel, I post videos about queer books. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. I'd love for you to be a part of our community. And if you're looking for an outlet to talk to more folks who read diversely and read queer books, follow me on Bindery. It is my dream to have my own imprint to publish the queer and trans books I love reading as an adult and wish I had as a teen. If I get enough Bindery subscribers, I will be able to have my own imprint and talk about the books that I've published on this channel. If that is something you're interested in, the link is down below. It is as low as $5 to support me. It will go a long way, and you get exclusive content every week, whether it be my newsletter, access to my Discord where I host a monthly book club, and I do seasonal readathons. The next one will be in July. I will have some exclusive videos coming on Bindery for Pride Month, so if you want to support a trans creator like myself, I would appreciate you supporting me on Bindery. But if you don't have the means, you can also become a free member and you'll still have access to my Discord and be able to receive a free version of my newsletter. I really hope to see you over there. Now let's get back to the video. For escape, I will be using World Running Down by L. Hess because it is about a character escaping. Valentine Weiss is a salvager in the future wastelands of Utah. Wrestling with body dysphoria, he dreams of earning enough money to afford citizenship in Salt Lake City, a utopia where the testosterone and surgery he needs to transition is free. The food is plentiful and folk are much less likely to be shot full of arrows by salt pirates. But earning that kind of money is a pipe dream until he meets the exceptionally handsome Orsric. I feel like I'm probably saying that wrong. Once a powerful AI in Salt Lake City, Ostrich has been forced into an android body against his will and sent into the wasteland to offer Valentine a job on behalf of his new employer, an escort service seeking to retrieve their stolen androids. A reward is a visa in the city, and a chance at life Valentine's always dreamed of. But as they attempt to recover the merchandise, they encounter a problem. The android ladies are becoming self-aware and have no interest in returning to their old lives. Is this really an escape? Or is it reality? Because it's about utopia, this does have some escapism. Next is Creepy Queers. I'm doing a video that I don't know what I'm going to read yet because like a specific thing is picking my TBR. I can't really tell you, but if you do go over to my Bindery and Patreon, I have posted my content plans and hopefuls for free and paid members. So if you're nosy and want to know what's coming this month, content-wise, sign up and you will see my content plans there. And you'll know what video I am referencing. So I don't know what I'll be reading for this yet, but I have a couple options for you. Blackwater is a graphic novel. It has a trans character, is very queer, and is about werewolves. The Cardigans by Cole McCade is Criminal Minds but gay. And Ace of Spades by Farida Amike Amide. This is an academic thriller. It's amazing if you're looking to read a thriller. Highly recommend this, and it is YA. This does have queer rep in it. There is bisexual rep and there is a gay character. I want to specifically mention this because somebody commented a couple weeks ago about this book where I referenced it in another video and asked if it has trans rep. I don't believe it does, and because it has ace in the title, it does not have ace rep either. Ace of Spades is just a term, you know, like card dealing type of term. So just a little explanation there in case anybody is curious. Next is nonfiction. I do have a video where I've recommended a lot of my favorite nonfiction, either in short form or long form content. But here are some of my recommendations off the cuff. Horse Barbie by Gina Richero. Such a great memoir. It is following a Filipino trans woman who paved the way for trans women in the US and in the Philippines. Pretty by KB Brookins is a memoir written in prose and verse about KB, a trans masked non-binary person. It talks a lot about masculinity and religion, specifically religious bigotry. This is such a beautifully written book. Hijab Butch Blues by Lamia H. is a memoir about Lamia going through passages of the Quran and interpreting them as queer and trans. And last I'll recommend We Have Always Been Here by Samra Habib. This is a queer Muslim memoir. It talks about immigration, immigrating to Canada. This is a fabulous memoir about a queer Muslim person. I'll also recommend the graphic memoir How to Be Ace by Rebecca Burgess. This can work for multiple prompts. This is all about Rebecca discovering that they are ace, and it has OCD rep. I have a bunch of hopefuls for this. Queer, a graphic history could work. I also have an audiobook of Paper Doll by Dylan Mulvaney, and Queers at the Table, an illustrated guide to queer food by Alex D. Ketchum and Megan J. Elias is calling to me. It looks so interesting, so maybe I'll have to do that. It is like a queer graphic cookbook, and I think it's gonna be really cool. Maybe I'll put that in the vlog and try and make something from it. Now we're down to the last two prompts. Alliteration, just a book that has alliteration in the title. Here are some of my recommendations for alliteration. The Passing Playbook by Isaac Fitzsimons. This is about a trans boy, Spencer, who is stealth at his new school, and he joins the boys' soccer team, but he learns in his state there is a discriminatory law preventing trans people to play. He's navigating life at his new school, having friends, and a crush. This could also work for queer sports. I already mentioned Glitch Girl. My camera died halfway through filming, so the angle might look a little bit different, but let's continue. My last recommendation for alliteration is The Do's and Donuts of Love by Adiba Jagadar. This is a YA romance with the rivals to lovers and enemies to lovers trope between two exes who land a spot on the Junior Irish Baking Show, the first ever teen baking show in Ireland. If you enjoy books with baking competitions, I think you'll really like this. And the final prompt is middle grade. I love queer middle grade. It heals my inner child and the stories are just so wholesome. I do have a long form video where I've recommended queer middle grade, and lately I've been doing some shorts where I recommend some of my favorite queer middle grade. So if you're looking for more recommendations, I will link the long form video down below, and if you want the short, you'll have to just look on my channel. One of my favorite queer middle grade authors is Nicole Melleby. These are just some of her books, but I do recommend her a lot on this channel. For this prompt, you could use Winnie Nash's Not Your Sunshine, or you could read her trilogy, The House on Sunrise Lagoon. This is following a blended family, two mothers who have biological and adopted children, and they are living on Sunrise Lagoon for the summer. This is so sweet. I love the way that it tackles issues like anxiety and familial issues. Glitch Girl would also work for this prompt. I can't recommend middle grade without sharing Benjamin Dean. He's one of my favorites. This is Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow, and it is about a boy whose dad comes out as gay, and it's him navigating that, and at the end, they go to Pride. He also has the Secret Sunshine Project, which also features Pride. This could also work for Rainbow Cover. And last, I will recommend Snapdragon by Kat Lee. This could also work for Creepy Queers. This is a middle grade graphic novel about Snap, a young girl who is afraid of the witch in the neighborhood, Jax. But when she befriends her and helps her with her gardening, she actually learns more about her. It has great queer rap. There is a trans girl side character. Jax is a lesbian. I adore this book so much. Okay, I think those are enough recommendations. Those are all of my recommendations and hopefuls for round 17 of the Queer Lit Readathon. More details are in my description. Go over and follow Kathy, follow the Instagram, and figure out what you're gonna be reading. Let me know what books you're anticipating to read for the readathon. I hope that this video helped you create your TBR. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and leave a comment. It helps me out so much. And a special thank you to my top members on Patreon and Bindery. It is my dream to have my own imprint through Bindery to publish the queer books I love reading as an adult and wish I had as a teen. So if you want to help me do that, the link to Bindery is down below. If you would like to watch more, YouTube thinks you'll like this video and you can subscribe there. Bye.